year, it's just been the worst of them all, you know. And right,
Mm.
it cost them a couple of games, and it did, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just in that kind of like throw your hands up kind of mood position when it comes to the Saints now. I mean, I'm definitely going to watch the games. I mean, got no problem going to the games. I stayed, I say this proudly, throughout that entire Lions game when I was there. I did not leave like 98% of the Superdome did. I stuck it out and watched that last second interception by Drew.
Deuce, when I seen Golden Tate running freely to the end zone, I got up and left.
Yeah, I'm not knocking anybody who did. I'm just saying my level where I'm at, screw it, we're going to watch Saints. If that means watching them shoot each other in the foot, that's fine.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I actually feel a lot better about this team going into this offseason than I have the last 2 years.
Oh, yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah, I do, you know. I mean, because, you know, after 14, they had the locker room turmoil. They tried to clean house a little bit. And then, you know, Rex Ryan, debacle last year, they fire him halfway through the year. And then Dennis Allen's trying to take over his mess, you know. And then this year, you're sitting there looking saying, all right, Dennis Allen's going to have his pieces, but all his pieces weren't there to begin the year. So I would have loved to see what he would have had to start this year, you know, and you know, with all of his chess pieces in place. He didn't have that, and once he started getting healthy, he was able to start doing things that that he wanted to do earlier but couldn't, you know. Because I remember it was against the Giants we were playing. They were playing so far back off, you know, the line of scrimmage. They were just trying not to get people. He played actually a good game plan because they played pretty good with it, but he had to do that because he was so short-handed. But you know, you see improvement, and you're really just a few pieces away. Like you were saying, the defensive end, a linebacker, you know, maybe a guard or something like that. Because Johnny Evans, he's played steady. He's up in age and all that. But yeah, you know, I'm looking forward to it. It's hard to, you know, it sounds kind of corny when you're sitting there at 5-8. You know, you've been there 5-8, and you feel good about going into the offseason, but I really do.
I mean, I'm with you. A lot of it's because the core of this team is now a young team. It's not like we're built by old free agents anymore. I mean, guys like Cameron Jordan, heck, even Mark Ingram, Brandon Cooks, Thomas, the potential of Von Bell, Sheldon Rankin. I mean, there's a lot of young players. We've actually got room to spend money in an offseason. Now, I'll say this. My defensive expectations, I'm keeping them stymied for a little bit because let's not forget, we all like to talk bad about Rob Ryan, but his first year here, we had the best scoring defense for the Saints since the early 90s of the Dome Patrol. And how quickly that flipped around when one player got hurt and it was done. That was Jabari Greer. So I want to see a little bit more than 1 year from Dennis Allen before I get fully on the bandwagon. But, I mean, for what we've seen this year, it's been stellar, considering the injuries he's had to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, he's considering what he's had to work with. Yeah, he's did a really good job. But you know, on the flip side, you're saying now, I don't know how true this is, but it was coming from Rob Ryan. It was Sean Payton when they changed the defense to more like what Seattle's defense. And Sean Payton, you know, got his nose in those meeting rooms, and this is how he wanted it done. And, you know, that's not – Sean needs to quit micromanaging and let the defense coordinator do his job. And it looks like he's letting Dennis Allen do his job. I don't know what him and Rob Ryan's problem was. But there was, you know, there was definitely issues. You see them yelling at each other on the sideline. So, I mean – yeah, you know, I understand what you're saying, that, you know, you want to see more, you know, instead of just 1 year, because you've seen it before where you had that one good year and then next thing you know, they fall off. So I can understand that side of it, but I'm encouraged, you know.
And don't let my because it's not pessimism. Don't let my, you know, patience come off as not excited, because defensively, just from the X's and O's, positioning, fundamentals, it's the best I've really seen in quite some time, including when Ryan was here. I'm not going to let the Saints trick me. Just like I didn't fall for the trap that we were going to run the table when we got healthy and we weren't going to finish at 7-9 and worse again this year. I said we were going to be 79 at the beginning of the year, and I've stuck to it. I'm not going to let the Saints fool me. They'll fool me when they actually do it. I'm not going to just jump on it anymore. I can't. Not 3 years in a row.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Yeah, you just, you kind of, I'm the same way. To where it's like, man, you want them to do so good, but then, but you've been burned before. So, yeah, I can understand that. No doubt about it.
Well, because I've had Brian quiet, and I've got you here to get your opinion, because I don't know what your opinion is, but I know Brian's really wanted to talk about a guy named Brandon Cooks for, I don't know, probably since the game ended. So we'll let him say some things, and if you're still around after it, we'll get what you got to say.
I want to hear this. Go ahead, Brian.
Brian, you there, or do you fall asleep on us?
No, I'm here, brother. I'm here.
All right. All right, well, go ahead. Unload us on Cooks. I know you've been waiting on it.
No. I want you to start. I'm going to give you the floor first because there's going to be no holds barred when I start this.
All right. Well, we're going to let you go then, and then Patrick will get what he's got to say after you go. Here's my thing with Cooks. For one, and this is the argument I had with a Saints fan last night who came out and said that Cooks is not elite. We shouldn't keep him, trade him, get rid of him. He's an average at best player, which for me immediately was what game have you watched as to say Cooks is like that? Now, I'll say this. Cooks did not have a great game Sunday against Tampa. The drop touchdown to me is inexcusable. The overthrow by Breeze doesn't count against him. And then there was another play that Saints fans were very mad about where had he slowed up like Saints fans wanted him to do to make a catch, he would have been speared by 3 Tampa Bay players and possibly severely injured. But so many Saints fans were mad about it, and they were even coming against Nick Underhill on Twitter when he posted the screenshot saying it was silly for people to be mad about that play, and I'm with him on that. Now, all that said, to say this, I don't see him as the prima donna that everybody's blowing him out to be. I don't see him as this locker room disruption. He's certainly no Junior Gillette. He's certainly no, Terrell Owens at the Eagles or the Cowboys. I can't see it. Not over one little thing where we can't even prove he said it. We just know it came from his people. Now, whether he started it or his agent told him to start it in hopes of more money down the road, I don't know. But all this talk and swirling around, now let's trade Cooks, he's a locker room disruption, I think's ridiculous. No basis. Everybody wants to talk about he's not doing anything for us. The guy's got a better 3-year stat starting off in the NFL than Antonio Brown did. He's doing better this season in his 3rd season than Antonio Brown did his 3rd season. He did better in his 2nd season than Antonio Brown did his 2nd season. I'm not saying the guy's going to turn into the next Antonio Brown, who is up there as the best receiver in the NFL. What I am saying, though, is for people to now go from loving Brandon Cooks as the new up-and-comer receiver for the Saints, he's the best flanker receiver I've seen in the NFL in quite some time because of his ability to play the entire route tree. It's just getting so blown out of proportion. And like Sean said, who joined us earlier, this is mostly due to the fact that the Saints are losing. If we were winning, nobody would give a flying bird, pelican, anything about this. But because of it, we're now treating Cooks like this, we're demonizing the guy for wanting to help his team, for having a voice and an opinion. And I don't have a problem with that because I don't think it needs to be the Drew Brees show every day. It doesn't need to be, Sean Payton's way or the highway. Sometimes you have a guy who is at an elite talent who needs the ball, and if you're not listening to him, I said this last week, I don't agree with things getting said outside the locker room and becoming media disruptions, because that's what this is. The media's taking it run with it, and now fans have just set the whole forest on fire over it. It should never have left the locker room. If he ain't really had that type of issue, you go to coach about it. All that having already transpired, it's not like the guy's wrong. And I know you're going to come on and talk about, we're forcing it to him now and it's causing turnovers, and I just don't see it. Especially the Lions game where he caught like 78% of the passes thrown at him. I mean, the guy was on fire. That is high-end, elite-level catching percentage. Antonio Brown's got like a 67% catch rate for the entire year. We're not going to go throw him under the dumpster fire. That's my thing on Cooks. It's ridiculous. It's blown out of proportion, and we're going crazy over a guy who simply wants to play football. He's like 22 years old. He wants to show out. He's young. He's dumb. And he just wants to play the game, and I got no problem with it.
Oh my goodness! Did you just do? I can't believe you did that. You just threw gasoline on my fire. Thank you so much. I am so glad you did this for me. First and foremost, let's clear this up because there's I've heard it mentioned many times on the show tonight. Cooks is just doing this because he wants to win. And if the team was winning, he wouldn't say anything. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did he not say that after the Saints had just blew out the Rams 49 or whatever it was, 21? Did he not cry like a little baby back girl after the Saints won a revenge game for their coach? That game meant more to Sean Payton than any game on the schedule. And what does Brandon Cooks do? It's all about me. I didn't get the help. I'm mad. Stop it. Stop it. Are you going to really sit here and tell me it's all about winning with this guy? The Saints had just won. They were closing in on almost a 500 record. So you mean to tell me it's about winning because he didn't get his target? Are you kidding me? And then the following game against Detroit. Well, it was no wonder who was going to get the ball that game because old Brandon Cooks, a.k.a. Brandy Cooks, a.k.a. Cookie. Oh, yeah, the Cookie Monster came out, ran her mouth, and all of a sudden now, what do you get? 9 targets. Okay, so you caught the ball for the most part. Good job. The Saints lost the game. So you got your numbers and the Saints lost. Why? Because everybody and their grandmother knew where the ball was going to go that game. No secret about it. And on top of that, this whole, well, he's a good Christian guy, and he you know what? If I'm not mistaken, there's a few guys in the Bible that are kind of questionable. Let's start with Peter. He was Jesus' right-hand man, and he betrayed him. You know what it reminds me of? Old Jesus himself right now. Number 9 for the Saints. Brandon Cooks is his right-hand man. That's my little brother. I love him. Let's hug him up. He's from the West Coast. I love him. He's my best receiver. And all of a sudden, what does Cooks do? I'm mad. It's a business decision. I got to treat it like a business, and my clothes doesn't get fed, and I'm upset. Shut up, you little punk. Shut up. Because prior to, am I not mistaken when I say this, prior to the Rams game, I'm pretty sure Brandon Cooks, the big dog, was getting fed. How do I know? Because I look at the stats. 9 targets, 8 targets, 8 targets, 7 targets, 6 targets. He was almost the most targeted receiver on the team before the Rams game. So you can't tell me it's all about winning and he's not getting his something. It's a built-up frustration from a young guy. You know who I know was a young guy? Henry Henderson was a young guy. Robert Meacham was a young guy. Marcus Colston was a young guy. Pierre Thomas, young guy. Reggie Bush, young guy. All of those young guys never ran their mouth. And if I was Sean Payton, I would have smacked Brandon Cooks in his mouth with the right hand of God until he got his mind right. Because it's uncalled for. We're already fighting to get above 500. And you little 4 foot nothing, midget of a receiver, you're basically a little bit taller than Tommy Lee Lewis, and you got the nerve to want to put the chest out and want to say, give me the ball. Boy, you ain't Keyshawn Johnson. You're not Michael Irvin. Hell, you wouldn't even be considered to be Antonio Brown if it wasn't that y'all were the same size. Are you kidding me? This guy wants to run his mouth after the Saints have went above and beyond the idea of saying, you're the number 1 guy. All offseason, what will we say is not this, but going into the offseason, going into the draft, What was everybody saying? Defending old Brandy Cooks. The Saints don't need a number one receiver. They've got Cooks. They don't need another guy. They've got Cooks. And you betray me like this?